Hello and welcome. My name is Lou Redman and I appreciate you practicing with me today. I was recently going through some old journals and I came across a phrase that I used to repeat to myself every single day. I would write it and start my journal entry with it, and I'd always think about it and just continue repeating this, and I have no idea when I stopped this habit of repeating this phrase, but it really struck me. And the phrase was, expect great things to happen. And I was reflecting on this phrase and I realized it seems a little bit opposed to a Stoic or a Buddhist philosophy, which might say the opposite, might say that expect suffering, right? Expect that things aren't going to go your way. And if we know that that's going to be the reality, then we're not as attached to it when they do. And we allow ourselves to live in this balanced and equanimity or equanimous state. And I think, in reflecting on both ends, I think we can hold both together. And while I'm not a fully practicing Buddhist, I really try to be a practicing optimist. And I don't think necessarily it's bad to be looking towards hopeful outcomes of the future. Obviously, we don't want to be attached to something, right? We want to not get our hopes up and then get down. But what happens way more often is that people, and myself included, it feels like we are so worried about negative things. We fear things that don't actually come true. And I forgot who said it, but it was as if worrying is praying for the worst case scenario, and that scenario never comes. And there's another quote that's like, our greatest fears don't actually happen. I'm butchering this, but I'm sure you can look it up. Please, if you know what quote I'm talking about, make it in the comments. I'd love to be enlightened. And so this practice today is really about, one, letting go of our anxiety and our worries, and seeing if we can retrain our mind back towards that state of hope, back towards that state of optimism. And so go ahead and find any last movements that you might need. If you haven't yet, please close down your eyes. And let's begin our practice here today. So starting by allowing your body to relax, allowing the weight of your body to come down, and continuing to keep that expansive and light feeling throughout your upper body. And softening any areas that might need a little extra care, down through your face, down through your belly, and keeping a broadening through your chest and just a relaxed shoulder. Beginning to invite the awareness into your breathing. And it might help as you do this to note breathing in and breathing out, and following that easy, smooth rhythm, feeling with each inhale that little bit of an expansion, and with each exhale that release and contraction. Breathing in and breathing out. You can say that silently to yourself, or you can switch it to inhaling and exhaling. Maybe it's just in and out. And just a couple moments here on your own to get settled. And begin to bring your awareness to your mind. So wherever that is to you, it might be around your head, you might have a bigger view of your mind, but bringing your awareness wherever mind is for you. And the practice of meditation is really to understand our minds, how it functions, what are its habits, what are its patterns. And often our mind has been grooved in habitual thought patterns. Maybe they're worry, maybe it's a fear. And what meditation allows us to do is kind of fill in those grooves so that we can create new habits, new patterns within our mind. I'd like you to imagine your mind as wide as a sky, as wide and as bright as a bright blue sky. And noting the expansive nature of your mind. Continuing to breathe and enliven that expansive quality. I'm just taking in for a moment this bright, wide sky of your mind. Meditation is also about connecting our heads to our hearts. Maybe feel that connection and from your mind down into your heart. Feel that energy flow. Maybe you even feel your chest broaden a little bit. And to help us cultivate our hearts, find some gratitude for something that your mind has allowed you to do. Maybe it's a degree it's allowed you to pursue, a problem it helped you solve. It could just be the simple act of driving your car, any little thing, big thing that the mind has helped you do. See if you can continue to stay down in your heart, sending that energy up and finding any feeling of gratitude that you have for something that your mind does. And we'll take a few moments here to cultivate that. Allow the gratitude to widen your mind sky, to brighten it. And then together, let's take a conscious breath in and let that go. the mind tends to have good intentions, but it doesn't always know how to show it. So bring to mind something that causes you worry or anxiety. Maybe it's a pattern of thought, maybe it's a specific situation that you're having, or it could be just a more chronic anxiety that you feel, or just an anticipation for the future that never really gets there. Maybe it's with your children, maybe it's your job, a relationship, any feeling of worry or anxiety. See if you can allow it into your awareness. And then first, noting if there's any place in the body where this anxiety manifests. Maybe it's a tightness in the head or the neck or the shoulders, or an uneasiness in the stomach. And you might not feel anything, but just noting the body, and regardless, both feeling the breath as it kind of holds that part of your body. And if you can't find a specific part, just feeling the breath in, even holding this situation in your awareness. Just being with this for a few moments. And as you're being with it, maybe just remembering or allowing this in, and it's the knowing that our mind just wants what's best for us. That's what it was programmed to do, is to keep us alive, right? It wants us to survive. And it's just been, or just had a history of not showing it the right way. It pretends that there's fearful things that aren't really there. So we're going to practice just acknowledging this anxiety for what it actually is intended to do. So to begin, just notice any feeling of fear or worry. To imagine that it's leaving your body and it's moving outside of you. And you can imagine maybe that you're sitting at a table and there's another chair, and the anxiety is kind of moving out of you and sitting on the chair as some sort of energy. Or you can just imagine just this anxiety outside of you, right in front of you where you're at. And just breathe and release it outside of you just for another moment. And coming back into your heart center, let's take a moment to really thank this anxiety for its intention. And you might speak to it silently or out loud. Right? Thank you for caring for me. And thank you for wanting me to be loved. And thank you for wanting me to be safe. And thank you for having my best interest in your heart. And notice as you thank it, if it just shifts the relationship to it at all. Maybe doesn't have the power that it's been having. It wants what you want, just doesn't always know the best way to show it. Just holding that here, licking your anxiety right in front of you, and just sending them that caring, appreciative energy. And although it wants what's best for you, it doesn't need to control you. It doesn't have to be here. So with each breath, see if you can see that anxiety begin to melt away, whether it was sitting in a chair, whether it's just in front of you, see it begin to melt away and float away. And with each breath, taking back your power and creating space for you to reprogram those new thought patterns away from anxiety and towards a more wholesome and sustainable approach. Breathing in, breathing out, and releasing any anxiety that's still there. And together, let's take a good breath in and let that go. Now that we've cleared some space, I'm going to have you think of something amazing that has happened to you. Something truly, truly amazing. Maybe it was your partner, your life partner that you met. Maybe it's a lucky break you got, an accomplishment that you achieved. What great thing has already happened to you? I'm sure something is there. And see if you can bring that experience into your awareness and see if you can fully go there in that experience. And see what you saw at that time. Notice who is there. Notice anything else you see, where you were. Anything you heard in that situation, other people. Any other senses, any smells or tastes that may remind you of this. Maybe you were outside. And then from that heart center, really trying to cultivate the feeling of this experience. What did it feel like in this moment? Breathing in that energy of possibility and of knowing that good things have happened to you. Couple moments here. And as you breathe in the good energy, find gratitude for having had this experience. coming back to that thankful heart. Permeating that gratitude in all directions of your being. And see if you can keep this energy, keep this feeling as a knowingness that good things happen to you. This is proof. And then slowly let that go. And bring yourself back into your current experience, right where you are, in whatever room you're in. And come back to the awareness in your mind. Come back to imagining your mind as wide and bright as the sky. Bringing that bright blue sky into your vision. And this time we're going to write some words in your sky. You can see these words in sky writing, so it's kind of like the clouds that the planes write on the sky. And in this sky writing, it reads, "Expect great things to happen." Expect great things to happen. And see if you can see this almost like a 180 panorama in the sky. And just allowing those words to sink into your mind and into your consciousness. And notice if you can embody that phrase. Notice if there's any resistance in thinking that good things are possible for the future. Both are welcomed. But to help us embody this phrase, we're going to repeat a few words, and you can say them out loud or you can say them silently to yourself. I am worthy of great things. I am capable of great things. I am open to receive great things. I expect great things to happen. I am worthy. I am capable. I am open to receive. I expect great things to happen. And we're going to repeat that last line. However, we're going to bring it into the now. So repeating silently to yourself, great things are happening. And just repeat that over and over again for a few moments. Great things are happening. And then letting that go. And finally, just bringing to mind if there's something specific in your life that you'd like to realize, a goal, a dream, a vision. Bring that image to mind for a moment. With all of this energy that we've cultivated, see if you can see yourself accomplishing it, see yourself in that experience. Seeing those great things coming true. What would that feel like to be there? And finding the gratitude now, as it's already happened. These great things are happening. And then when you feel ready, letting that go and beginning to come back into your body, come back into your room. Maybe making some movements if that feels right. And then whenever you're ready, beginning to just open your eyes to come back into your day. And I thank you so much for showing up, for choosing to practice with me. I'd love to engage with you, so please leave any comments that might have come up or that you might have. And may you see the possibility in your life. And I just want to note again that it's not that we live in this place of entitlement where we're just expecting things of everyone, because that's what we might take from that. It's really just to trust that there is a benign presence that we can cultivate from within. And as we allow that benign presence to lead, we can trust that good things are happening, great things are happening, even if we don't see it in that moment, even if it takes going through struggle or difficulty to realize that, wow, that was a great thing that happened. It didn't feel like it at the time, but it was great. And that's what our practice can ultimately allow us to connect to and to embody and to be an example for other people. I will go ahead and let you go. Thank you, as always. So much love to you. Namaste.